What's up, YouTubes? Today we're going to be talking about some red flags that I see with all kinds of listings on YachtWorld. Now, I've got 9 boats to talk about today. They are an eclectic mix. And I did this on purpose because I really want you guys to kind of learn how I vet boats, not just because you want to see $50,000 boats or you want to see boats specifically in your budget. But I want to show you how I look at boats and how I vet boats and how I decide what's a red flag and what's a green one. So if you don't know who I am, my name is James Stevenson. I'm a professional mariner and delivery captain. I've got over 90,000 miles at sea. I wrote a book called Be the Captain that did pretty well and is resonating with a lot of you. And today I'm going to show you through my experience on boats over 25 years living on boats. Over half my life I've spent on the water, and I'm going to tell you what I've learned and tell you about some of these boats today. Okay, let's get right in it. The first boat we have today is a 1976 Westsail Ketch. And there was a couple of these Westsails made. One was a 32, Westsail 32. We called it the Wet Snail because at that boat didn't have any cockpit combing, and you could just take a wave on the front of it and it would come all the way back into the cockpit and just get you all wet. And they were slow because they were small and they were kind of like caves. But this is the 42-foot version, and I actually quite like these boats. I almost bought one of these boats in Hawaii one time. Years and years ago before I started YouTube. And I'm telling you, they're nice boats. This one's got tan bark sails, which is super cool. That's the red. That's what you call those sails. Very, very neat. It looks like they've got covers on everything. I mean, they've got a grill cover and they've got bottle covers. And this even looks like a cover for a diving bottle, which is crazy. Oh, and this is a cover for the Honda generator, and this is a cover for the propane, and this is a cover for the hatch. Somebody went a little crazy with the covers. I like it though. You know what? That's a huge green flag for me because that tells me that whoever owns this boat cares about it and loves it. Yeah, it's got a painted mast. It's a ketch. 10 bark sails are super cool. I mean, it's just the color. It doesn't make them better. It just makes them look cool. That's the way that sailors of old used to dye their sails with bark. That's why they call these tan bark when they were cotton. And this is kind of like a homage to that. Looks like it's got some newer electronics, which is cool. I'm happy about that. The wood looks really nice. This is really nice wood. Beautiful. The bottom shapes of these boats are a little different. They're full keel boats or encapsulated keels. You cannot kill this boat. It's solid fiberglass. The chain plates are on the outside of the boat. It's a very kind of like old and new mixed. They're not going to be super fast. They're not going to be that go upwind really well. They're not going to be the best sailing boat in the world as far as, you know, doing tricks and flipping circles and racing. But as far as a cruising boat, this is a good platform, and it's not too expensive. This one, I think, is on the higher end of, a boat that's, let's see, this is 50 years old now. So $110,000 for a 50-year-old boat is a lot, but it looks like somebody really took care of this boat. It's got a full cover. That's crazy. Those things are really expensive. This one checks all the boxes. One thing I look for with boats, and this is true on any sailboat, this is coming from an offshore skipper, so I'm looking for offshore-ready boats, right? These port lights, these big bronze port lights, awesome. I mean, bronze is probably the best you could get, and then it goes to stainless, and then it goes to plastic, right? Plastic is like the lowest end. You have to replace them all the time. But these bronze port lights have big, thick tempered glass in them, and you just keep changing the seals, and you can literally make seal material out of almost anything too. You don't have to get the exact thing that you have to have, that costs $200 from that manufacturer. And these are nice. That is definitely a nice boat. Oh, I love the fireplace. That's cool. That looks like I'm gonna say Dickinson, but that's a diesel fireplace, which is super cool if you're gonna go into cold weather to have that. Even if you have like a Webasto system, having a fireplace that's already mounted and plumbed through the boat. Now the bad thing about these is, I'm not sure if we can see it here, but you'll have a like a stove pipe coming out of the boat somewhere around here in the cabin top. And you got to watch that, especially if you have kids, because it gets really hot. So there's going to be a really hot chimney coming out of your boat. But Yeah, I love this boat. It's beautiful. I didn't expect to like this one, really, to tell you the truth. Yeah, big pintle on the bottom of the rudder. Looks good. This piece is usually bronze, this piece underneath here. And you got to make sure that this piece isn't cracked or broken or any of this, is because this is major structural repairs if you have any problems there. Looks like there's some paint osmosis here, which isn't a big deal. Looks like they painted their propeller, which was dumb. They come out with all these different things to do on your propeller. The best thing that I've seen on propellers is called prop speed. Prop speed is a product that's very expensive, but it works really freaking well. So go get yourself some prop speed. Don't paint your prop with any of that other crap. But the paint looks good. These are double ender boats. The chain plates look good. I haven't read anything about it. It's got a dinghy with it. But yeah, it looks nice. I can't remember if these boats came with teak decks. I don't think they did. I love the port lights, all shiny. Somebody took their time and really made this boat nice. Wow, the engine looks nice too. This is all green flags for me. This is a nice boat. It's a little on the high end, in my opinion, but I don't know the pricing on these 50-year-old boats, Westsail 42s. This one looks super clean and super nice. Good job. It's got a Cruise RO water maker already. It's got a heater in it. I mean, it's got granite countertops. Looks pretty. This is a nice boat. Cha-ching. I give it the Zingaro thumbs up. The seal of approval. All right, next boat. We've got a 1982 Jeanneau Trinidad 48. This one's for $55,000. And first of all, the number one thing, the first picture sucks. Sorry, whoever the broker is, but you gotta update these pictures. This looks like a picture out of the cruising magazine, maybe like the sales brochure of the boat. And this picture sucks too. It's way out of focus. Let's see what we're looking at here. Oh, I like the nav table with the inlaid compass rose. That's pretty. I love all the wood fiddles in the boat. This is kind of nice. I mean, these Jeanneaus, they're production boats, which means they're made, for charter and for high numbers, it's called cost conscious manufacturing, or at least that's what I've coined it as. And a lot of the time they're built a little bit light. This one looks, like your stock Jeanneau from the 80s. Big windows. That's nice that it's got a lot of light in it. I'd be interested to know why all the floorboards are stacked up on the table like that. And I don't like this this shower pattern on the counter. I don't like that at all. Somebody redid that, probably because it was Formica. They wanted to add their little touch to it, but this belongs in a shower, not on your countertop. Oh, I know what this boat is. This is an IOR boat. This is classic IOR lines. So the IOR was a rule in the 80s that people tried to cheat. It was a racing rule that people tried to cheat in the designs of the boat, where they made the waterline of the boat really short so they could get past this rule. And then they had these big overhangs on the back, just like this. This is classic. So while it does look like a cool platform to swim off of, because of them trying to cheat that IOR rule for the racing rule, it made these boats really tender, because when they heel over, the waterline lengthens and then they can go faster, because boat speed is directly proportional to waterline length. It's actually 1.34 times the square root of the waterline length is the speed of the boat in the water. So basically what you have to take away from this is IOR usually is a red flag for me, because they're tender, they tend to have bigger masts, they tend to be like racing boats, and they're not really made for offshore. Some people do cruise on IOR boats, great, but as a rule for my audience, as the offshore sailor, usually IOR boats are not a really great idea. Especially a Jeanneau. Jeanneau, if you're going to buy an IOR boat, buy something that was made a little heavier. This is going to be somebody's toy, somebody's racing toy. All right, next is a 1996 Manta 40. It's a catamaran. You guys are always asking me to do cats. Now we have one. So let's see what this boat is all about. It's got a nice Park Avenue boom. No, that's just a regular boom. I like that they've put these rails on there to catch the rest of the mainsail. That's kind of cool. I've never seen anybody do that. I'd like to see how those are attached. because this is a definite add-on here. Looks like, they got a funky boom on it. Hold on a second. Let me see. It's got a big hard top. It's got some solar. Aha! It's got one of these. What do you call these things? Club-footed booms on the jib. Here it is. Camber Spar jib. Camber Spar jib. So these Camber Spar jibs, I don't like them. They're not the greatest, because what they do is they build the sail to put this boom inside it in like a sleeve, and it chafes against the sleeve, and it's hard. Sometimes it catches and it's hard to get down. You can't reef the sail. You can't reef it. So really, it just makes it so it's a self-tacking jib, and it's super easy to sail, and you can go up and down, the intercoastal and not have to do anything with the lines to be able to sail. But whenever things come out to make sailors lazier, the opposite side of that coin, the con part of the pro, is that you always get restricted in some way. And in this case, you're restricted in way too many ways that I don't like. One, it's a self-tacking jib, so you don't get the thrust of an overlapping jib. Two, it chafes like crazy because you've got that sleeve with the thing inside the sail, and it's a bad idea. Three, and the nail in the coffin here, is that you can't reef the sail. You can't go offshore like that at all. That's a no-brainer. This is a hard no for me. It may be a really nice boat. These Mantas are built really well. They're pretty heavy. They're nice boats, but they I don't know about the pricing on that. I don't know if a $200,000 is a good price for that or not. But whatever it is, you're going to have to change that boom out. That boom that's a toy for somebody to have behind their house. All right, 1976 Formosa 51. This is the Captain Ron boat.
All right, let's tie her off and kick back some cold ones, huh?
I have not seen this one, but I picked it because, one, it's the Captain Ron boat. Two, it's a very, very popular boat with new boaters because they see the lines on this thing and they're like, oh my God, it's a pirate ship. I want this boat. It's so pretty. And this one had a pirate flag on it, and I figured. Plus, I think it's in Marina del Rey. I think if I remember, yeah, Marina del Rey. Yeah, man. I think this is the Channel Islands in the background on this picture. This is a cool picture. Beautiful. It's a catch, so it's expensive to rig. Beautiful boat. It's got beautiful lines. Wow, it's really pretty inside. Oh man, that is pretty. I wonder if this folds up into a couch or if this is always a bed. This is a really cool setup. I really like, because if you had a lee cloth here, this would be like your underway spot. I really love the decks. It's kind of got that old world charm to it. Oh man, I really didn't want to like these boats. These boats, I'm gonna just be honest, these boats don't sail the best. They kind of sail like shit. Just the way that William Garden, I think it was William Garden that designed this thing. The way that he designed it, big full keel, it's heavy, it doesn't point well, it doesn't really sail well. One of these, just like this, sailed into Easter Island one time, and they said it took them 30 days to get there. It took us 18 days. It took them 30, and their rig was all messed up, and I gave him a piece of Dyneema so he could fix his Dolphin Striker, and the boat was just not set up for doing what he was doing. But if you're looking for a liveaboard that you can have fun with, that you can, maybe take people out sailing, that you could take down to Mexico, this would be the boat. This is beautiful. I really love it. I don't believe that these are very good offshore cruisers. I don't see the Formosas in anchorages all over the world because they're just not that good of sailing boats. I can see some water damage here. You're going to have to look at that, make sure that that's been remediated. Usually what happens here when you see a floor like that is one of the port lights up here on the top is going to be leaking. So, oh, nope, it's this hatch for sure. That hatch is leaking. It's coming down. Every time it rains, it leaks on the floor. And after years of this, it just destroys the floor. So this is going to have to be, probably can't be sanded out. It's probably needs to be, these planks need to be replaced, which is going to be a pain in the ass. Or just live with it. Like I said, with the Westsail, these big hatches are beautiful. I love that they're bronze. I love that everything's teak in here. These things were built in Taiwan, so they you know, they're just full of beautiful teak joinery, and a lot of them have carvings. And, you know, this is one of those boats that's like kind of a pretty cool show boat. Oh, wow, look at that bed. Whoa, what's this? What's going on here? That's weird. That's different. There's a lot of water damage on the walls. So, you know, that's what I'm looking at is, yes, it's pretty. The aesthetic is pretty. It looks like almost a 4-post bed, like a princess bed or something. But it's offset to one side, which is nice because if you're on, I'm guessing this is the starboard side. So if you're on a port tack, your back is leaning against this wall, and it feels freaking beautiful, and it's super comfortable. On the other tack, it would still be comfortable because you have this to lean up against, but it wouldn't be as comfortable as on a port tack. And these lights in the back are just, that's what everybody loves about this boat. But you know, actually that whole shape, the whole thing, it ends up being a kind of a maintenance nightmare. And a lot of these end up just going to shit because people leave them, and there's a lot of wood on the outside. It's a lot of upkeep, but they're pretty, and the lines are pretty. Yeah, see, look at this, dude. You don't get this on a new boat, you know, these carvings. That's badass. I wonder if the guys in Taiwan did that. Beautiful. Little bit different setup in the front. A lot of the time nowadays, you would never see double bunks in a V-berth like this. You would see a big bed in the bottom. And, you know, these can be changed. You can change this out, you know, and kind of have a carpenter come in and make one big bed on the bottom and then one on the top. This is just kind of, it screams 80s to me and 70s. You know, in the 60s, it was all single bunks because it was kind of a man's sport. But in the 70s, they changed it to this. This is a beautiful boat. Beautiful. You could be very proud owning it. The thing about it is, and I said this before, it is a maintenance heavy boat because it's really a lot of work to maintain all this wood on the outside. And this stuff starts rotting, and these posts start rotting, and you have to have somebody like with a big lathe make you new ones. And I've seen many of these boats that had a really bad top side. This is a lot of work. But if you like this style of boat and you want to be proud of your boat and you want to look back as you're leaving the boat and say, oh my God, I have a pirate ship, this is probably a good boat for you. Okay? So I'm going to give this a red and green flag. This doesn't get the thumbs up approval from Zingaro, but it is pretty. I can see why you would want to buy it. And yeah, let's move on. Next boat, we have a 1991 Gozzard 31 for $95,000. Now, $95,000 for a 31-foot boat, that is a freaking expensive boat. But I think you're going to see why. And I have looked at this boat. This is a pretty boat. Gozzard is still in business. Ted Gozzard came out, and he was one of those guys that like never wavered in his thinking that I want a boat that has offshore capability. And I'm not going to ever waver from that responsibility. And still today, they're still in business. Ted's sons are running the business, and you can still get Gozzards today. So these are actually, I'm glad that this one came after the Formosa because these are actually mistaken a lot of the time for the Formosas. You see the front here, and you see the front on that Formosa. Let's see if I can go back to it. Look at that. Kind of looks the same. Very similar, right? Not the same boat at all. Gozzards actually sail pretty well. They're good boats. They're very good offshore boats. They don't have that same like structure on the outside that's all made out of wood. That's a horrible amount of maintenance. This one is actually really kind of cool. They built like a big house on the top of it. So it's got a hard top and a hard dodger and an enclosed space. This one would be perfect for going up to like Alaska. I'm not sure where this one is, but I actually really do like it. I think that when I see a boat like this that has all this like big house on it, some people call this a covered wagon. That's what they call it, which it kind of looks like a covered wagon, you know? And when I see it, I see an aerodynamic problem here. So the boat's not going to go upwind as well if you have all this crap on the top, but it makes it a lot more comfortable for what you're doing. And if you're going to go into cold weather where the wind is kind of finicky, you know, who cares about the pointing ability? I'd rather be comfortable and warm while I'm on watch. So that's kind of the trade-off. Like I said, everything's a trade-off. But this particular Gozzard is interesting because, well, one, they have a canoe for a dinghy, an inflatable canoe for a dinghy. They have, this looks like they might want to go to like Patagonia or something with these big rolls. in the back. I imagine it's probably got a heater inside it as well. It's got a lot of solar. It's got a 48 volt system, and it's been converted to electric. So in my opinion, in an offshore sailor's opinion, this is not a good boat for taking around the world. I think that the electric, I'm a big proponent of having electric technology, and I hope that one day it will be there. But right now, at this moment in time in 2026, the technology is not there. A 12,000 watt battery bank at 48 volts is not going to be enough to drive this thing through a storm, through a big low. If you get trapped outside, this is a beautiful boat. Look at the bilge in this boat. He ripped out all of the diesel stuff and put in electric, painted the bilge, probably replaced all these lines. It looks freaking beautiful. That setup is nice. You did a great job, sir. But in my opinion, that is a deal killer for me. I don't want any hybrid. I don't want any electric. Call me old school, but I don't like it. I just want a tractor engine in there that I can flip on and I can drive against the waves. And yeah, I know 3 different people that converted to electric and converted back to diesel because when they were cruising, the electric just wasn't enough. And even if you have, 24,000 watts of power, it's still not enough. It's just not enough. So unfortunately, this is a great boat if you wanted to live in Alaska or live in a cold area, let's say Maine or Nova Scotia, and toot around there and not go very far, and everything was going to be a day hop. If that was your plan, then this would be a great boat. If your plan is to sail this thing across the North Atlantic to Europe, no. Or to sail even around the Med, I would say, the Med gets kind of scary, man. The wind gets into the purple range a lot, and you want to be able to have enough power with your motor to push against all that stuff. All right, next, a 1977 Alden Boothbay Explorer, 58-foot Alden from 1977, $200,000. I have not seen this boat yet. I picked this boat because, one, it's got that old, late 70s, early 80s window pattern. And specifically, I just want to point out to you, if you buy a boat that has this window pattern, like, say, a Hylas 54 versus a 56, or an Oyster 485 versus 495, this squarish window pattern is just indicative of this era. And it looks a bit old. I'm just being honest. For the resale of the boat, it just looks a bit old. Some people like that aesthetic. Some people like the new one. This is a catch. It's a 60-foot boat. 60-foot boat for $200,000 is it may be a good deal, may not be a good deal. It's got a nice big hardtop on it. I love it when the hard Bimini goes into the hard Dodger. That's something that didn't come around until the mid 2000s, and man, it's just such a cool look. It looks really cool on this boat with the old lines, with the overhang. This kind of looks like the back end of a Mason 63. I love John Alden. He's a great designer. I bet you this boat sails really well. I bet you this is a full keel. I love the lines on this thing. It's just beautiful. This picture's beautiful. What a picture. It looks like it's a cutter. Looks like it's got a little bit of solar on the back. The problem with having a mizzen and having a catch is I love having a solar arch on the back and having a lot of solar, and that mizzen boom gets in the way of that. So you can still do it, but it just gets in the way of it. It's got Lumar plastic ocean hatches. So there's a couple of different levels of these Lumar hatches as well. These are the best plastic ones that you can get, but there's still Lumar hatches. It's not the best version of hatches you can get. Looks like an old windlass. Flush decks is nice. It doesn't have a teak deck or anything. Yeah, here's one of those 1970s designs, just like I said before, with the 2 bunks in the front. It's got a lot of cleats. That's nice. I like that it's got a lot of cleats, and it's got big teak tow rail. That's beautiful. Look how tall that tow rail is. That's crazy. Beautiful. I love that. You drop a tool and it'll just stop, not go into the drink. This thing would cost a lot of money to fix up, I think. Oh, look at that. It's got single bed. You remember what I said about the 60s designs? So Alden was a big designer in the 60s. And this is like the very end of his designs where it carried over with those 60s designs where all the beds on the whole boat are basically single beds. Like this is a very small double if it counts as a double. And the thing is, back in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, sailing was a boys' sport. Like you'd get your guy friends together and you'd go out and you'd have some fun with the boys, and then you'd come back on Monday and go to work and you hang out with your family. And usually it wasn't a family related kind of sport. So every single berth on this thing is going to be a single berth. And it just makes it's just funny to see now because it's such a horrible design. It would take a lot of money and time and carpentry to make this into a design where people were like, yes, I can see my family cruising on this boat. You could do it, and maybe this is the boat for you to do that with. But I think I picked this one just to kind of highlight that design. I wouldn't say it's a flaw, but here's another single berth. How many single berths are on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single berths on this thing. It sleeps 5, but you can't sleep with your girlfriend. Maybe if the salon folds down to a bed. Explorer 2. I like the name. Okay, next we have a 1985 Contest 41. Contests are cool boats. They're Dutch built. Right away, I don't like the pictures. Whoever has this ad needs to change that. This is what is this? I see a picture of a catch. A lot of the time, that's not the broker's fault. A lot of the time, the software with Boats Group, with YachtWorld, kind of messes with the pictures and zooms them in ways that the broker didn't expect. But you need to do some work on this, dude. The drawing is cool. I love this girl right here, and the guy up here. That's funny. It looks like the layout's kind of nice. It's got a kind of a Pullman back here and a split V berth here and one single pilot berth here. How big is this boat? 41. Perfect. Yeah. So that's good. This isn't a bad boat. It's pretty. A lot of these Dutch built boats are really pretty joinery inside. Joinery meaning all of the wood. This reminds me of a Valiant, the joinery on a Valiant. I like it. It's laid out like a Valiant 42. Oh, man, the Volvo's in bad shape, huh? Jesus, dude. Well, I'm not a big fan of Volvo. I'm sorry if you have one, but I just don't really love it. It's more like a prosumer kind of thing. Like they're not made to be rebuilt. They're just made to be picked up and replaced. And you get a lot of like this metallurgy problems with Volvo and, yeah, some of them can go forever. I have been contacted by people that have 10,000 hours on their Volvo, but usually in my experience, especially with the newer Volvos, that's just not the case. And they're just not marinized very well. I prefer to see a different one. Oh, the wheel's cool. Pretty wheel. It's got davits on the back. Oof, these look like they're super freaking flimsy. Look, they don't even go into the deck. They're just like clipped on to the stern pulpit. These are not safe for offshore. What I would like to see with davits is, they go into the deck and they have big backing plates underneath them, and they're strong, like Simpson davits. Look up Simpson davits. That's how they're made. I do like that the contests and the Hallberg-Rassys have this windshield. I don't know if contests kept that, but this is nice. Having a windshield is nice because it breaks the flow of the water. So when you're getting like a big wave over you, you're trying to go upwind. It breaks that laminar flow, and it makes it so it doesn't hit the Dodger so hard and come through it and rip it and collapse it and stuff. It does make it, though, because it's kind of low profile with these kind of Dodgers, you have to duck to get underneath them, which is sometimes a deal breaker, sometimes not. I love the granny bars. I think these are called granny bars. You go up to the mast and you kind of lean against them and you can tether yourself to them, and it's nice to have. I don't love the teak deck. The teak deck, see how all these bungs are missing? That's a whole different conversation, but the bungs missing and the old teak and there's one here. A lot of the time you want to go and see a teak deck after it's rained, and then you can see where it's holding water. this teak deck probably needs to come off. Pretty lines, pretty boat. Wow, that's a cool drawing. That was before AI. That's a real person that did that. There's the compression post for the mizzen right in your bedroom. Not a big deal. So it gives you something to lean against when you're on a starboard tack. But yeah, I like it. It's cool. At least, nowadays when you look for a boat with your significant other, you want a bed that you both can get out of without waking each other up. That's kind of a big thing. This one's a Pullman, so it's on the side, and they didn't really design it that way. Mostly because of that compression post for the mizzen mast. They're working with what they have. This is an old design, and the pictures need to be updated because this picture doesn't do the ad justice. It's a pretty boat. It gets my seal of approval. Nice boat, very well built, but there's some other things you're probably gonna want to watch. That's what you trade off with. I mean, what is the price of this contest? It's a good boat. Contests are offshore boats, $80,000. You're getting a 41-foot boat for $80,000. It's set up and it's built like a Valiant 42, but you're getting it for a third of the price. And you have to deal with those slight, interior decisions that were done in that era. All right. Is this the last one, or do we have one? Oh, no, we have two more. This is our most expensive boat on the list. It is a Hallberg-Rassy 53 from 2006, and it is $400,000. And I picked it specifically to show you what I love in a boat, so you can see, you can put it on your list what you really want, okay? So this boat's got kind of everything that I like. It's got a factory hardtop. I think that Hallberg-Rassy makes some of the best factory hardtops in the whole business. They're so pretty. See this? Do you see this hardtop? It's got, people wire fans in here. It's got electric coming through. It's got lights. They're pretty low, so you can't walk underneath this, but you're so safe in here and you're so protected and you're so dry. Very, very, very nice hardtops, man. And I love the teak. I would trade the small amount of varnish work for this hardtop. I think it's just so well done and pretty. You can open this window too. That's important. You have to be able to open it. Also, the two seats on the side and the seating around like this, I love that. I like to read. I like to have two seats. And the seats on these boats, on all the Hallberg-Rassys, are kind of canted up a little bit. So even if you're on the port tack, then you're still sitting and you're still comfortable. But yeah, I really love having two lounge chairs like this. I think that's the coolest layout. Sometimes, on custom boats, they turn those lounge chairs together. Sometimes they make the lounge chairs into two love seats, but having a separate area that you can just sit and chill, read a book or watch a movie or something is nice. Also, the joinery in these boats are beautiful. Look how nice this is. This is a 20-year-old boat, and it looks brand new. On most of the Hallberg-Rassys, they chose this vertical grain pattern, and the joinery on these boats is just par none. The big thing on this boat is the split rear cabin. Now, I explained how in the 60s, sailing was a man's sport, and it was all single bunks, but Hallberg-Rassy had this design where you could pick to have one big bed in the center, but also you could pick to have this layout. And as an offshore sailor, I think this layout is the cat's meow, because you have a place to sit when you're underway. This is actually a really nice place to chill. And you have a bed on either side, so no matter what tack you're on, you've always got your back against the wall. Now, it may look funny to some of you, but this is the most comfortable aft cabin that you can have on a sailboat. It's beautiful. I love it. And it's an option, so that whoever ordered this boat was a sailor. They distinctly made that choice. This is a boat. This is for offshore. I'm going to use it for offshore, so I want this layout that's best for offshore. And if you can find one like this this kind of hits all the boxes for me. It's got the factory hardtop. It's got the two chairs, what do you call those, lounging chairs or whatever. And then it's got this split bed in the back. It's got, this is a beautiful boat. Beautiful. Perfect. It looks nice too. The floor's not all messed up. You don't see a bunch of water damage on the joinery or the wood coming down here. So the deck is probably still good. Looks like it's got some custom carpet back here, which is not a big deal. That's not a real big selling point for me. It looks like somebody hasn't bastardized the whole boat by putting in switches and a bunch of crap. he used an old label machine to relabel some of this stuff, but the actual panel looks beautiful still. It's not all, replaced and cut up and everything. That's pretty rare too. It's got, oh, look at that, double berth. Oh yeah, this is a 53-foot boat, so it's got a double berth. I love that for crew. The crew doesn't need a big freaking bed. You need 2 beds for 2 crew members when you're on passage. Or your kids or something like that. The only thing I would say is at 20 years, the teak deck needs to be really gone over well and see, are all the bungs there? Is it still solid? But this is a beautiful boat. The electronics are old. Looks like it probably hasn't been taken offshore in a while, but a lot of light will come through through this plexiglass. It looks like somebody took care of the boat, man. This is a beautiful boat. I think if you had $400,000, you could do a lot worse. Okay. A lot of, it's going to be out of the budget for a lot of us. It's going to need some work. It's definitely going to need a new cover on the wheel. It's going to need some new electronics, but so far, look at all these electronics. There's so many phones. Let's call Zimbabwe. Yeah, well, this is kind of what you get with a big old expensive boat. Beautiful. I think this boat would look really good with some hard tubing. Like raise this up another 4 inches and put some hard tubing on it, on like double railed hard tubing. That looked really nice. Beautiful. The deck looks in pretty good shape. You can kind of tell. Oh, it's all glued down. This isn't screwed. Oh, that's nice. Oh, well, that's different. Yeah, this thing will last probably 10 more years. Beautiful. Looks nice. Oh, this boat. Okay, I'm done. Let's move on to our last boat. It is a Shannon. I love Shannons. Shannons are beautiful. Some of the most beautiful boats I've ever seen in my life were Shannon boats. These boats were made famous by Evan Starzinger and Beth Leonard. Go buy her book, The Voyager's Handbook. Beautiful book. That's one of the required reading for going offshore kind of thing. A little dated, but yeah, beautiful book. So this boat looks like it's been sitting a while. I mean, I can't tell what color this was originally, but it looks a little green to me. And that usually happens when it's sitting in Washington State or something. I don't know where this boat is, but I bet you it's in the Northwest. Maryland. Okay, Northeast. Looks like it's been sitting a bit. It's an older design. It's kind of cool. It's got a really small cockpit. So they pinched the ends of the boats a lot back then. It just makes it so that you have less storage. But these things all have really nice hatches. They're offshore capable boats. They have really pretty joinery. These pictures are horrible. I can see that there's a little bit of wear on the floor, so that probably means that you've had some leaks over time. These are the old manship hatches, so probably the seals went bad on these hatches, and it got on the floor, and it messed up the floor a little bit. This floor should be real. It shouldn't be veneer, so probably can be saved. It looks like this whole boat's mahogany. Beautiful boat. Oh, that's not looking good. That Perkins has seen better days. That's too bad. But the good thing about Perkins is the rebuild kit for this engine's like $500 with cylinders and pistons and valves and sleeves and everything. So yeah, just rebuild it. And take it out, put it on the floor, take it apart, rebuild it, put it back together, or take it out of the boat is the easiest way to do it. If it had a rebuilt engine, I would love this boat. Right now, the engine looks pretty sad. It looks like maybe it got some water inside or something. Generoso. It's got a 4108, yeah, so 4108 is better than a 4107. Okay, that's what I know. It's a very quick skim over 9 boats to give you guys kind of the gist of what I'm looking for in a boat. I hope it helped. I hope you saw some red flags. I hope that you saw some green ones. I'm going to give that last Shannon a thumbs down because of the engine and because it looks like it's been sitting a while. But you tell me. Comment below. Tell me what your favorite one is. And tell me what kind of boats you'd like to see me review. Much love. See you next time.